So we're gonna make something like, so we're gonna make a Bruno Mars type bass. And I say type bass because it's gonna be like the song, This Is What I Like. That's what I like. So it's gonna be a Bruno Mars type bass and the song, That's What I Like. Now I've kind of reset the keyboard, and this, as soon as I heard this sound, it's definitely, I'm getting like a warm sound coming from the filter. So instantly I know, okay, I'm going to be using the envelope to modulate my filter. So let's start with the sine waves though. This song's in the key of C sharp. So my first oscillator, I'm going to go for a saw wave. I'm going to use this variation. I'm going to bring it down an octave straight away because I know it's going to be a bass, so I want it to be, I want my kind of bass notes to be down here. So let's go into mono. Now to get that sound, that tone, that womp sound, bring my fill all the way down, use my envelope depth to control where my cutoff's going to be. My decay, is gonna, give me how much time that womp kind of noise comes in and out. I'm gonna put my sloping at 24. So rather than kind of like a medium sort of roll off on my cutoff, I've got quite a sharp, and it makes that kind of womp sound very distinct. And I've put a bit of envelope, sort of envelope key follow on here, just so when I go up the notes that my filter's kind of follow, my filter cutoff is following my whatever notes I'm playing. So remember that our envelope depth is like, okay, how much of the overall filter we've got. My sustain here becomes my final resting place for my filter in this range. So for now, that's cool. I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to put tone copy. I'm going to copy this over to our second oscillator. But rather than having a sawtooth, I'm going to go to a square. And I'm going to change my filter type to a peaking. I'm trying to find this sweet spot. That sweet spot where I get like a nice initial transient bite. Because we're emulating like a Moog sort of sound, I want that initial bite to be quite raspy, because that's what I'm going to use as when the sound initially comes in, give it some kind of grit to it. So if we put these two in, I'm going to blend in the second oscillator now. Also, what I can hear is that the second oscillator is staying in. So another thing I'll do is bring down my sustain and my decay on my amp section. Because I only really want that initial that initial transient coming in. So we're getting there, we're getting pretty close. Definitely what we're missing out is some low end information. So on my last one, I'm going to put a sub in there. And we'll leave it there for now. We're putting these back in. So we're pretty close. So let's go over here. I'm gonna put the pitch shifter on it. Now the reason I'm putting the pitch shifter on this, we haven't got unison on this keyboard. But if I just add a little bit of pitch shifting, I can kind of thicken up my sound. So we're getting there. Definitely engage my low boost on this. So I say we got there pretty close. Now the finer details, definitely on this, what I will do is slight detune on my 2 oscillators on the top. Again, just emulating that Moog sound where the oscillator is sort of the drift in and out of pitch. And then to make it a bit more drifting, I'm gonna put a real slow LFO rate on the pitch here, only small. Again, we're trying to go for that emulation of the Moog sound, so it's something real analog. This is a digital synth, but we can kind of do some replications of an analog synth by just kind of tweaking some of the LFOs and the fills and the pitching. I think that's pretty good. So far that's kind of cool. I think I'll just further tweak my 2 tone oscillators, these 2, not really my sub information, but my top 2. Just to get the right kind of womp sound I'm after. Just to get it kind of close. So you know that this sound is definitely coming from the filter section, that womp, that our envelope, lifting our fill up and down in the initial and our first oscillator. And our 24 dB slope definitely gives us a bit more pronunciation in that womp sound. And in our second oscillator, we're using that just for the initial transient, just to give us a bit more bite in our initial. And then we just kind of creeping into how much we want by using our amp level. And then our last oscillator, just giving us more sub information. Now the only thing I'd add to this is if I was going to play this sound live, I'd definitely use a pedal just to give me a bit more bite, and it'll be running through my amp head just to give me a bit more low end as well. But let me know how you get on.